Hi, welcome to Garage Geek. This is another episode of Friday Night Chats. So, I went back to work this week, and of course I've been back to work, but I've only been doing training and setting up my classroom, which is really nice. They gave us a full day free, paid, just to set up our classroom. And since I'm at a new school, this is very beneficial to me. So, even though I didn't have to deal with the stress of teaching, I still had to get back into the routine of getting up and, going to bed early, trying to go to bed early. And then, unfortunately, my dog woke me up a couple of times this week at like 3:30 in the morning, both times. And 2 times I wasn't able to fall back asleep. So that really affected my kind of mental abilities this week. And for example, I came home and I don't know, about 45 minutes ago, I crashed for about just like 10 minutes, but it helped revitalize me. It was like a cat nap. So I'm going to be talking about my classroom a little bit. And then I have 2 CDs, 2 movies, 2 books, and a comic series to talk about. So that's what I'm going to be going into today. I guess I'll save the school for the end, in case, anybody just wants to tune that out. So let's start with my CDs. I have them in front of me on the table. Hopefully I won't shake the camera. Okay, so I listened to the Cranberries, Roses. Now, I've had this for a long time. I got this free. I don't remember how. Either someone gave it to me and it was sealed, or I got them in a package of just a bunch of CDs that was sealed, and I never listened to it. And it's actually a 2 CD set, and the second CD is Live in Madrid 2010. Now, I'm not much into live recordings, but I listened to both CDs, and the live recording was nice. It had a lot of empty space, with people clapping and them getting ready to do songs. I wish they would have trimmed that a bit, and it would have been a more enjoyable listening experience. But I do have to say that, first of all, I'm not a huge Cranberries fan. I liked them, and I certainly liked their hits. I never disliked this band. But hearing this album in its entirety, I really, really liked it. It's a really nice, very pleasant sounding album, very nice album. I would say if you like the Cranberries even a little bit, then you would probably enjoy this CD. And isn't the art beautiful? I just love that watercolor art. Let me go ahead and open it up. Let me show it to you. There's a booklet in here that comes out. Here we go. And there's some more of the art. Yeah. So, I recommend that one. In fact, one of the CDs is still in my CD player. Oh, no, it's not. Because this one is in my CD player. So, one of them's missing. I got to find out where I put it. I probably just put it down. Okay, so, I have a complicated history with Radiohead because their OK Computer album is almost always listed as the #1 album of all time, or it's always ranked within the top 10. And every time I listen to it, I think I listen to it with that lens, and I just don't see how it's better than so many other albums like Dark Side of the Moon. Or I know that's very stilted thinking, but for some reason I can't connect with that album no matter how much I try. But I really like this one, and so I need to go back and give their other, the rest of their catalog more of a listen. But I really, really like this one. It's a really good album from beginning to end. I think it has all the same kind of sounds and noises of OK Computer, which I don't hate, but I just don't understand why it's so much better than all the other rock albums out there, like ever. It's like #1. This one also has some interesting packaging. So it opens up like a box, right? And so it opens up like this. If you've never seen it before, it's really neat. And then everything goes inside it. This is the CD case. And then it's got a booklet, and these two things are stickers. I think you can make your own plastic CD case if you want to. They show you how to do it on the back. So, but anyways, I really like this album. I like it more than OK Computer. I don't know if it's because I have lower expectations of this one, and I don't listen to it with those expectations, and I end up really enjoying this. So yeah, those were the two CDs that I listened to besides stuff that is for the VC. Of course, I've got a list, and I've been working my way through that. I've been listening a lot to Queens Reich this week, and also I listened to oh gosh, I'm forgetting the name. The one I just reviewed by that the one prog band, Marillion. I listened to that album again, and you know what? Even ever since I reviewed it, I'm listening to it more, and my prediction is correct. I'm starting to like it more and more. That album is growing on me, and I've got 2 or 3 other Marillion albums in my queue that I've been listening to just as background, and I'm starting to like those as well. So maybe I'm becoming a little bit of a Marillion fan. We'll see. Right? I mean, they have 18 studio albums, so I don't know. That's a pretty big discography to get through. Okay, so after the music, let's talk about the movies. Okay, I really only saw 2 movies this week, and they were both blockbuster ones. So we'll start with the one that I liked a lot. I loved this movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it's great. It's really, really just a great movie. If you watch the other 2, you know all the characters. There's a couple of new ones. But all of their relationships are thrown into chaos because of what happened with the snap. And then this movie is a lot about getting through trauma. And there's a lot of really, really tough scenes, especially with animals in this movie to get through. But what are you doing? What are you doing? You want to come over and say hi? Oh, my dog Aries, he knows it's almost time to go in to eat, and so for him to get his snacks, so he's starting to act up. But yeah, it's like getting through trauma. The characters are all fun. This is just a great, great movie. I recommend it. Okay, here's another view of that. Stop. People are thinking I'm going to torture you. Come here. They need to see that I'm not torturing you, and this is just how you act. Okay, say hi, Aries. Aries needs a haircut. Something bad, huh? Yeah, you want to say hi to the audience out there? No? You just want to go inside so you can get your treats. Okay, the other movie that I saw was the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, I heard great things about this movie. Ooh, I didn't like it too much. Now, I'm gonna say it's not bad, but I was just kind of bored. So this for me was like a roller coaster ride where I was going up and down. Every time I saw something that they would recreate something from the games and some weird and interesting way, I was immediately drawn into the movie. It was so much fun seeing like different game levels and different details from games come to life. But the story, and I don't know what about it, it didn't hold my interest, and I was just kind of bored. But like I said, the visuals kept me going. Yeah, my dog, he's just staring at me. Come on, honey, you gotta wait. I gotta finish my show. All my fans, they're dying to hear what I have to say about all these movies. They can't live through their week without it. My garage army, they need me, baby. You just gotta wait. Honey. So yeah, I'm gonna say that this movie, I wouldn't say not to watch it, but don't have high expectations. The animation is gorgeous, right? So if you're into animated movies, you should watch it. And if you like the Mario Brothers, you should watch this. But I would say this is like a 3 out of 5 for me. I do want to say, though, gone are the days where princesses need saving. They made sure not to do that in this movie. And I mean, it's nothing bad, but it's different, right? Because you just expect, especially from the Mario games, right? Donkey Kong comes, he grabs a princess, and then Mario has to fight the whole movie to save her. That is not what goes on in this movie. So those days are gone. Princess power. All right, let's go. I do want to shout out Foundation, which is the show that is currently on Apple TV. It's in its 2nd season, but they release it weekly. And I am caught up. There might be one new episode out today. I'm just going to say that if you like sci-fi, you should watch this show. It is so good. Even the 2nd season, it's different than the first, right? Because all the characters and all the situations have already been established. So now it's about keeping the momentum going and keeping the story interesting. And I think they're doing an excellent job of it. Hey, there we go. Next, I will talk about the books. So I actually listened to 2 books this week. So this is Richard Stark's The Seventh, which is a Parker novel. Now, I'm so happy because in my DCBS advanced order, they put out Darwin Cook's, they're reprinting Darwin Cook's Parker books, so basically the comics that he did of the first 4 to 5 novels. They're reprinting that because they have 2 deluxe hardcover editions, but they're sold out and they're expensive on the aftermarket. So they're putting out like an omnibus format, kind of like this thing. And even though it's a little bit expensive for an omnibus, I went ahead and grabbed it. I'm so looking forward to that. But anyways, back to this. So this is, let me see if I have, this is called The Seventh for a reason. I have a list of all the Parker novels. Oh, I don't think I downloaded it here. I can't remember what number it is, but I am going in order. I think this is about the 6th novel. It's not the 7th, even though it's called The Seventh. It's the 7th because of something that relates to the story, which I won't give away. But as always, you would think that by the 6th novel that these would start to wear thin. Nope. This series is so good at what it does. I'm still very invested in what goes on. Like it does what it does so well. So it sets up a new type of crime, one that we haven't, heard about before in these books. A bunch of criminals get together to rob a racetrack, right? When they're because people only pay cash for some reason at this racetrack. So they go and they do everything, and then Parker ends up getting, he's the one in charge of holding all the money while everybody lays low, or lies low, whatever. And he ends up getting robbed, and that's not going to happen to Parker. And so the rest of the book is him trying to find out, was it an inside job, or was it somebody outside that knew about it? And what this series always does really well is it will also go to other characters' points of view and show them how they're thinking and their motivations, and give a different angle on the same crime. Still, if you've never read these books, I highly recommend them, and they're short. This one was a 4-hour read, right? And so for a book, that's really short. Still love this series, loving it. And there's like 25 or 29 of these books. So as I keep reading them or listening to them, I'm going to keep updating you on this. So good. Okay, the next book is called Afterparties, and these are stories by Anthony Vaisnaso. Now, this one is a group of interconnected short stories about Cambodian Americans, and it has a lot to do with surviving the genocide and how that trauma is related through the generations. The beginning of the book, every story is very good. I had a little bit of trouble, like, kind of connecting at the beginning. Although the writing is not bad, it's very good. But by the end, I was actually really, really into these stories. I was into what was going on. So it does focus on the different generations, and it shows you, what it's like for the children of the refugees and what their lives are like in when they're in the United States, because this takes place in the United States. Now, what I'm going to say, I'm going to say that this is a really good book, but I wouldn't say it's like, oh, you have to read this. But I think what I'm about to tell you might make you want to read this. So this was the writer's first book, and the writer, before this was published, he died of an overdose. Very young guy, young writer, and it's such a shame because you can see so much promise from these stories. And also, there was a bidding war for this book, and he not only did he show so much promise, but like he would have, basically been very wealthy, and I don't know what to say. It's just such a tragedy that this guy died so young, even before his first book was published, and he had so much promise. But so many of the characters are going through, drugs and addiction in this book, and it's pretty sad. I guess that might have reflected some of his life. Now, I didn't research like why he overdosed or how it happened or anything like that. But I'm just going to say that it's such a shame because after listening to these stories, I would have liked to have read a novel to see what he could have done with that form instead of the short stories. So I would recommend it. It's not a high recommendation. And I probably can't highly recommend it, is because it's culturally, I think this would resonate more if you were someone, especially who was in this same kind of situation. I think this writing would really touch you and your situation. For me, as an outsider, I'm looking in and I can understand what's going on, but it wouldn't be as deeply resonant for me. I think for a certain portion of the population, this would be an amazing and outstanding book. Number one, because it's shedding light on a minority that most often doesn't get noticed, right? And then there's a minority within a minority, because the writer was queer, and he wrote about that situation in quite a few of the stories, and sometimes often funny ways, but also sad. Not every story is about that situation, though. There's various characters in all the different stories of a variety of backgrounds. So yeah, maybe give this a try if you like. Like I said, I don't think it's a 5-star book for me, but I'm certainly glad that I read this, and it's just such a tragedy what happened. Okay. All right. 2 more things. Black Science. I finished this behemoth. So there's a new type of comic collection out called the Compendium. So we have graphic novels, we have the oversized hardcover editions, we've got the omnibus editions, We've got the small graphic novels. We've got Marvel has the epic collections. And now companies are starting to put out these compendiums. And basically the compendiums are just what you see. It's a soft cover edition that houses a complete series, or like around 40 comics in a row. This one contains 43. So imagine you're getting, for Black Science, it's the entire series of 43 comics in one edition. Now, I'm going to say that this was hard to hold and keep open, and I'm the type of person that I don't want this spine to bend. And so I was making sure, to hold it in such a way where I wouldn't put it all the way down, and it's difficult to hold, but not impossible. And I'm going to say that I really like this format, especially for the price. I paid, I think, $35 or $39 for this. That is less than $1 an issue. It's really a bargain. Now, you have to say, well, when you buy something like this, is it worth the investment? Are you going to read it again and again to make it worth your while? I don't know. That's always a difficult thing to say, because I don't know if I'll actually read this again. I will certainly grab it and look through the art. And I want to talk about the story for a little bit. So this is a comic book that has gotten rave reviews. So Rick Remender is one of the darlings of the comic industry, right? And then Matteo Scalera, I think, was on art. I already said that I had a little bit of a problem with the art. I'm gonna keep my initial opinion that way. I think the artist is really good at the full page spreads, but I mean, it's not perfect. It's just an art style to me that seems, I don't know if I would say like very European, or it's very independent, and maybe I'm just not used to that. It's almost kind of manga-ish in a way, and maybe that's just something I'm not looking for in a comic book. It's by no means bad. It's basically a style that I just don't really like myself. Having said that, though, there were panels in these comics that I could really, really appreciate for the art. I'm going to show a couple more at random. There you go. The story, to me, like, everyone's raving about the story, and how sci-fi it is and how mind-bending. My mind was never bent when I read this. Maybe I'm used to the kind of concepts. The sci-fi in this is fun. It's really fun. But I didn't like the background. I didn't like the family. It's basically this father who's a narcissist. He cheats on his wife, and they get sucked through this world. Basically, it's, what do you call that one? Multiverse. So he builds a machine that can travel through the multiverse, and then there's a Dr. Smith type character who destroys it. But as it's going to be destroyed, the whole family is there, and they all get, along with the Dr. Smith type character, they all get sucked into the multiverse, and they're all trying to get home again. And along the way, they lose their children in different verses, and the whole rest of the comic, they're trying to get their family back together again. And for some reason, I wasn't interested in that at all. I wasn't interested in the family dynamics. And I think the coldness of the art added to that. I never warmed up to the characters, maybe because of the art style. Or, I mean, it could have been the writing. Now, when they're traveling through the multiverses, they do go to some really interesting places, and they see some interesting things. And some of the worlds are really fun and interesting. I was just ready for it to be done by the end. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to say this because this has such amazing reviews. So I don't know if I could recommend this. I mean, if this is it was a big hit. And this was a hit. Is very popular. Has great reviews. I would say give it a try. You probably would like it more than I do. I don't know why I couldn't warm up to this. I stuck through it and I read the whole thing. And I'm not going to say it's bad. It's awful. I would give this a 3 out of 5. And it was just because of the family. I wish it had been some other thing besides Lost in Space. Because basically that's what this was. It was Lost in Space. But then, like halfway through, it changes. Because then the family's no longer there. And they're spending the rest of the book trying to find the children. And so it morphed into something else after that. But I'd seen that in another comic series as well. And so, I don't know. I don't. I hate to say, like, never buy this. It wasn't awful. I didn't warm up to it. I was glad when it was done. Like I said, it wasn't bad. But okay, let's move on. If you've read that, would you please put your comments? Because I was on, like I said, I was on a chat show with Omnicat and who else? And like I said last time, the people I've said, oh, I'm not really enjoying it. And then everybody in the comments, they were saying, whoa, it's one of the best. You're going to like it. Don't worry. Stick with it. And da-da-da. So everybody else, I think, really likes it. Yeah, let me move on. Okay, so the last thing is I'm going to talk about back to school. And I got a couple of stories to share with you. So let me go ahead and put my photos up. So as you probably know, cell phones are a big problem in schools. And I got into school today, and this was delivered to my classroom. So this is an iPhone or a cell phone lockup. So at the beginning of class, the kids come in and you unlock this. They all put their phones in there, and then you lock it up again. Now, of course, there's going to be issues with that because kids are going to come in late. You're going to have to come in and open it up. And then I started talking to other teachers in the school, and I came across two almost immediately that said, I'm not doing that. And I was like, whoa. And I tried to tell them, hey, at my last school, cell phones was such a huge problem. The kids wouldn't get off it. And it's a problem at the school I'm at, but I guess they don't care. They were like, well, it's the parents' job to make sure these kids don't get on the phones. I'm not going to be responsible for taking, their $1,000 phone and locking it up. And I was like, well, I think if it goes in this and if it's school policy, then it's not our responsibility. That's something that the school is enforcing. So if that's their policy, then we aren't going to be liable for their phones. And I just think it would. So here's the thing. It will take a teacher a lot of time and investment to make this work right. And so many teachers are too lazy. They would rather just let the kids be on their phones. And to me, that's scary, right? When the school offers you, some option for controlling what's going on, I think we should take it. And then here's another problem. I've been in plenty of situations where admin has said, okay, this is the policy, this is what we're going to do, and then teachers won't do it. And then the ones that do, the kids rebel against. So, for example, a kid could come into my classroom and say, Teacher X isn't making me doing that, so I'm not doing it in this class. But if everybody is on the same page, then there wouldn't be a problem. Right? But it's the moment that the ones won't do it, then that makes it a problem for everyone else, and it all falls apart. So I got some new technology in my classroom, and I am so excited. So this is a picture of my actual classroom, right? There's my computer. I don't know if you could zoom in and find out any personal information about me, but we've got these They're some kind of smart screens. I don't know what they're called, but this company is Promethean. And so basically you share your screen, and whatever you put here goes here. And you might think, wow, okay, fancy, you can share your screen. It's so much more than that. So now I can get up here and I can manipulate everything, and it's happening on my computer, right? I'm up here and I don't even need my computer. I could have that in the back of the room, and I could start doing everything up there. And another thing that this does is all the kids join with the code, and all I do is click a button and then click on that, and it shares the student's computer. So whatever the student is doing, it could be up on the big screen, or the student can go up to the board and start, because it's a touch screen, and start manipulating everything. I'm so looking forward to finding interesting ways to use this for classroom instruction. I'm so looking forward to it. And then it was so funny because I met another teacher, and I was like, oh, I said just what I said. I'm so looking forward to using this tech. And he's like, it's just another thing that I have to turn on. I just turn it on and I leave it in the back of the room. And I was just like, wow, like this tech is expensive. It costs a lot of money, and you don't even want to try to use it. It's just shocking to me, right? Because this is something that could possibly capture kids' imaginations if you use it correctly, right? So many teachers aren't willing to do that. It really shocks me, right? Just the apathy from so many teachers. I really need to focus on the positive, because right when you walk around and you see the apathy of so many of them, they just don't want to do anything. And I'm not saying it's all of them, but when you talk to a couple teachers and that's the idea that you get, it's kind of, disheartening. But myself, I am very looking forward to this school year. I'm looking forward to using tech like this. They also gave us full access to a program called Canva, which there's a whiteboard in there. You can record lessons. I like to record lessons myself. You do everything, and you make a video of it, and you can post it online so that if a kid is absent, they have access to it, or if they don't know how to do something, you could refer them back to the video. And then there's no real excuse, if a kid doesn't do any work, later you could say, hey, well, go ahead and rewatch, this part of the lesson, or do that, and you have access to it. So, and I think that I am done. Oh wow, I went 32 minutes. I thought I would be way less. I just really gab a lot, don't I? All right, so of course, like always, I want to thank you for your support. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments. I hope to make a couple of videos this weekend, but I don't know. I'm really behind on watching YouTube videos. This just, getting back into the routine of getting up super early and getting ready and then going to work, and I just got to get back into that routine. So hopefully this weekend I'll be able to catch up on some videos, make a couple of videos, and again, like I said, I want to thank everybody for the support, and your comments are always appreciated. Now, Aries, you can go in and get your snacks.